Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. My name is Brendan Plays. This, of course, is the show where we answer all of your questions that you send in every single week on the Brendan Plays forums at brendanplays.com/forums, in the YouTube comment section down below, over on the Facebook page at Brendan Plays Official, or on the website by leaving a voicemail on the right-hand side of the page by clicking the green button. So, what a week in wrestling in terms of news, in terms of Raw. Not so much, a pretty crappy week. But this week we'll cover the brand split, everything about it. We'll kind of go through the rumored roster that's going around right now. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on that, who I think will run the show, my thoughts on Smackdown going live. We'll also talk about WWE 2k17 and Goldberg being announced for it. A little bit of a surprise there, wasn't expecting that, so that was good news. So we'll go through all of that plus a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be a hell of a long show this week. There's not really many things to talk about. It just depends how many questions we do have. And yeah, so make sure you guys do follow me on Twitter at Brendan Plays. We are getting more and more followers every single week. I really appreciate everyone that's been joining the Twitter and getting on there and following me. So if you haven't already, make sure you do so to remain up to date with everything to do with Brendan Plays. And also checking out the Facebook page, Brendan Plays Official. Apologize, I forgot to post the Let's Talk Tuesdays thread, post or whatever it is this week. I forgot to do that, so my bad. I'll get that done next week. So, apologize for that, but for the most part, you can check out the Facebook page. We often post newly announced matches for Universe Mode and any previews for matches that you can expect. So, it's a good way to kind of keep up to date with what's going to happen in the future for Brendan Plays and remain up to date with everything there as well. So, let's get straight into the show this week. In terms of my week, what have I been getting up to this week? Not exactly all that much. The first week I've had in a while to kind of kick back and relax. Obviously, you guys know that I've been busy doing assignments and things like that, so I had to kind of deal with all that. But I finally got all them out of the way, and the first day that I got off, the first day that I actually finished my assignment, I was relaxing. My sister went into hospital, so I had to kind of deal with all that. She's okay now. She had a problem with her spine, but it was just a bit of a, I guess you could say bruising, I suppose, and she also fractured her elbow. So that was like, obviously that was not good for her at all, but, there was some long hours at the hospital there, a couple of days where I went 6-7 hours at the hospital, so missed a few days there, but it's been a bit of a tiring few days, but the last couple of days especially, I've been able to really kick back and enjoy my time off. Been playing Uncharted. I know I've been streaming a lot as well, which has been a lot of fun. I'm really getting back into streaming, and I'm really enjoying streaming again. I think for a while there, I just wasn't really feeling it. Now I've made the transition to YouTube and Twitch as well. I think that's probably the right fit for me. More of you guys are watching, and it's a little bit more interactive as well, and I just feel like I've been able to play the games that I want to play. And people are still watching, and that's the one thing I wanted to do for a while on Twitch. It's great when I get a good audience for the WWE stuff, but I would like to get the good audiences for everything else as well. So that's the thing we've been trying to work on, and I'm getting enough people now where I feel like I'm having a good time, and the stream's enjoying it. I feel like my streams have been much better. I think, I just feel like we're doing well. So I've been enjoying the streaming, really have, and also the Royal Rumble streams that we've been doing every Saturday have been really fun. I still have yet to upload that Royal Rumble video from last Saturday. I'll be doing that today, don't you worry. And so lots of fun streaming and just kind of been relaxing at home. I want to do a vlog this week. I don't know if I'll be able to get that done. I was going to bake a cake this week and kind of do the whole thing there and do whatever else throughout the day, but I'm not sure if I'll be doing that this week or maybe next week. I'm not sure, but so not a very exciting week, but it's been full of a bit of drama here and there. I had my car break down as well. I couldn't start it. I needed to get a new battery in it, so I had to fork out some cash for that. So yeah, other than that, not really all that much going on, and not really all that much going on Raw this week either. Other than the brand split announcement, it was a pretty lackluster week in terms of wrestling, and we'll speak about the brand split right now. Let's get straight into the discussion. Now, I briefly talked about it on my channel earlier this week, and by the way, my channel, this has been probably the best week I've had in my channel for a long time. It's been a lot of fun making videos this week, and I've been getting a very good reception on all my videos. So I gotta say thank you to everyone of you who have been checking out my videos this week. It's been a very, very confidence-building week, and I've had my best growth this month for the last 6 months. So this has been my best month since, I think, January or so. Maybe, I think, actually December. So it's been a while. So yeah, I've had a pretty lean patch on YouTube for a while. I've just kind of been going steady, not really getting far. By no means did I get a big jump in improvement this month, but I'm getting back to some of the numbers where I used to be, and it's been a much better month for me, and I've really enjoyed YouTube a lot more. And considering that I actually had probably a couple weeks there where I was really busy and I was kind of struggling to get the videos done, we've done pretty well. I think we've hit back pretty nicely, and June will be a very good month, I think, for content until around about I think the 17th of June. That's when my exams start. So it'll be about a week period there where things will go a little bit, a little bit dry. But after that, especially July, we're going to be really, really pumping out. Lots of streams, lots of videos. So it's going to be a good couple of months for the channel coming up, no doubt about that. So quick thank you to all of you that have been checking out. Obviously, I've done some WWE 2k17 stuff. Expect a little bit more of that. I've been enjoying doing the discussion. Obviously, GMO is a big thing I'm very passionate about. So discussing that's been obviously a lot of fun as well. So lot to like, and I guess the discussions will be coming along very frequently because a lot more things are going to start to be announced. This is around about the time where they really start to announce a lot of things about WWE 2K games, normally around the May-June period, so expect some more announcements in the coming weeks, probably who's going to be on the cover in the coming weeks, so that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing and hearing about, and probably around some of the same time, we'll do the whole roster reveal, hopefully a little bit better than last year's roster reveal, which was absolutely abysmal, but hopefully they fix that up this year. So lots of WWE 2K17 stuff to get into. And I guess whilst we're on that note, we'll hold on the brand split a little bit. We'll get into WWE 2K17 with Goldberg whilst we're talking about it now. A nice surprise. I wasn't really expecting Goldberg, and I'm kind of surprised they've used Goldberg as their pre-order bonus, but I was going to say, look, Goldberg's been out of the spotlight for over a decade now, but I guess you think about it, Ultimate Warrior got the spotlight, and he was out of the loop for a lot longer than Goldberg, and Sting obviously been in TNA, but never even been in the WWE, so getting that kind of showcase was interesting. So I guess it's not really, different to what they've been doing. Obviously, the Terminator last year, which, looking back on it now, I never really used Terminator at all. I really got no value out of Terminator, whereas Sting, I got plenty out of him. I think that was a really good special. Ultimate Warrior was alright as well. Ultimate Warrior is a little bit before my time, so he wasn't really one that I was craving to play. But definitely Goldberg has been one of my favorites. Probably my favorite superstar, or favorite wrestler, I should say, from WCW, no doubt about that. And I enjoyed his little brief run in WWE at times as well. So I'm a big fan of Goldberg, so I really am looking forward to playing as him. Obviously, we had him in 2K14, I believe. But first time on the next generation console, they'll have him as a pre-order bonus, which would be a lot of fun to play as. Really looking forward to getting my hands on him. And I'm hearing that we might have two playable versions as him. I'm guessing maybe his WWE run and his WCW run. Can't see what the differences will really be, let's be honest, but whatever. It is what it is. So maybe he's got a current day attire. Maybe he's got current day Goldberg, and maybe there's Goldberg in his prime. I don't know. I guess it kind of opens up the rumors that potentially Goldberg could be coming back to the WWE within the next probably 6 months to a year. Perhaps a Hall of Fame induction could be occurring this year. Now, I say this because you look at the precedents where we had Ultimate Warrior. He was in the WWE 2K game, and he obviously came back. Sting, in the 2K game, he came back. Terminator, different story. But Goldberg potentially could be coming back. It seems as though he may have inked a deal with the WWE to do the video game, and perhaps an appearance, maybe even a match. As far as I know, he wants to do a match for his kid. His kid has never seen him wrestle live, so he wants to do that for his kid. I think he's, 49 years old, so, he's probably well past it, so I wouldn't expect something great from him. But as far as I know, he's in pretty good shape. I know he's been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, I think it might be, or some kind of MMA training. Not sure which one it is, but he's been doing a lot of that over the years, and he's got himself still in pretty good shape. So, and what I saw in the trailer, he looked pretty good. So, I don't think there's really much to be too worried about in terms of his physical health. But Goldberg was never really a great wrestler to begin with, so his matchup obviously will be very limited. And I'm not sure who we could kind of match up against Goldberg. Obviously, the Ryback match a few years ago would have been perfect, but now not so much. I think maybe I'm hearing that in the trailer there was a Suplex City sign in it, so that's kind of sparked some rumors that maybe we're going to see Brock versus Goldberg again. And honestly, I wouldn't be against that. I think they could kind of rectify the mistake that they made at WrestleMania 20 and kind of come back from that catastrophe. I think it would kind of be a fitting story, I think. I think it'd be pretty cool. To revisit it all these years later and kind of rectify the wrong and kind of make things right. Give us the match that we wanted. Obviously, Goldberg well past his prime, and even that by then, he was kind of, on the way out anyways. But Brock Lesnar's still tip-top shape, still great. So it could still happen. You never know. It's a dream match that when we saw it sucked, and maybe they can actually make it the dream match come true. I don't know. But I think it could happen. I think it wouldn't surprise me, but I would just like to see Goldberg do something. Wouldn't it be great if we hear Goldberg's music hit on Raw? That would be awesome. I think that would be a huge pop and a huge ovation. Now, mind you, Goldberg over 10 years ago now, will he get the reaction that perhaps we might think he would think that he would get? I don't know. I think obviously a new generation of fans has basically come through since Goldberg. So it is quite possible that a number of these fans may not know who Goldberg is, but here's the thing, doing the video game marketing that will introduce some of these fans to Goldberg in a bigger way than just kind of slipping him in there under the radar as a legend. Now he's getting this full pre-order package, getting trailers, getting some notice and some buzz about him. Maybe people will start to kind of research him up a little bit and kind of see him and know what he was all about back in his time. So it's an interesting time right now, and I'm certainly looking forward to hearing a little bit more about it. At this stage, my guess would be we're going to see Goldberg in the WWE within the next 6 months. That's my prediction at this point. Maybe in January, February, he might pop up. So a little bit more than 6 months. But I'm around about WrestleMania time, I could predict we will see Goldberg around about then. So now the brand split. Obviously, the big news this week. I was very, very pumped, very hyped for it. If you didn't see my video that I put out earlier this week, basically my reaction was I was quite happy because WWE has been very stagnant and very stale and boring for at least a few years now. It feels like it's same old. You could kind of tune in and out in 6 months and you really wouldn't miss much. It's not really earth-shattering. Nothing much is really happening. But now a brand split offers the opportunity for the WWE to kind of be more creative. More creativity and competition between itself. Obviously, for the last, when did the brand split die? Around 2012, I guess, was its official death. Probably, 2011 was when it was kind of on its way out, 2010. So, we'll say the last 5 years, there really has been no competition among the wrestlers to outdo each other, for the brands to outperform each other, because everyone's on the same team at the end of the day. But even when there was a Raw and SmackDown thing, it kind of felt like, wow, we want to outdo Raw. SmackDown wants to outdo Raw. Raw wants to outdo SmackDown, especially when there was the pay-per-views as well. I got the feeling that was definitely some competition. And it made it for a very much more exciting show. Obviously, watching both shows, for the last number of years, there's been really no reason at all to watch SmackDown. I can't tell you the last time I watched a whole episode of SmackDown. I think I watched SmackDown for about 6 months in 2012. I came back to watching wrestling in 2012. And obviously, when I left wrestling, stopped watching in 2008, SmackDown was still pretty good. I was a huge SmackDown fan, so I stuck with SmackDown and kept watching it for about 6 months. But after 6 months, I kind of just realized week in, week out that I was wasting my time. What am I watching? I'm watching literally nothing. Nothing was going on. I just felt like I was wasting my time. And the piped-in cheers were really corny, really, really bad. And it was just a waste of time. Raw was already bad enough as it was at the time. 2012 was pretty rough. And, add SmackDown on top of that was pretty brutal. So, SmackDown's been a complete waste for a number of years now. So, with the brand split, at least it makes SmackDown relevant again. Live now on Tuesdays, which Obviously, TNA, if we still care about them. I honestly, for me and TNA, I have literally no care about them at all. I didn't even know they were on Tuesdays. I had no idea. I have not given a shit about TNA for a couple of years now. Obviously, last week on the podcast, I talked about how if they sign up some of these new free agents, it could kind of reignite some spark in the company and generate some interest. Certainly for me, it would generate interest, but for right now, I have no care about them at all. So will SmackDown be the final nail in their coffin? I don't know. They could probably move their show to some other night pretty comfortably. It feels like every time, it feels like TNA have changed their time slot so much, it's just kind of hard to keep up. If you're not really paying attention, it's kind of hard to keep up with where they're on. I thought they were on Wednesdays, honestly, but they're on Thursdays, they went to Wednesdays, now Tuesday. Ooh, I can't keep up. I think they were on Fridays at one point. Is that right? I don't know. They've been on every goddamn night. Let's be honest. They've been on every freaking night. So, yeah. So TNA, whatever, who cares? But SmackDown, I don't think it's really their way of the WWE trying to kill TNA. I don't think the WWE even cares. The fact of the matter is that Tuesdays, everyone is on the road on Monday already, and Tuesday, it doesn't really change their schedule at all. If they did it live on Thursdays, then they would have to kind of, change their schedule from being on the road Monday, Tuesday, half of Wednesday, and obviously half of Wednesday off, Thursday off, and back on the road on Fridays. It'd have to change their schedule a little bit, and maybe they'd have to stop, have half of Tuesday off, and then Wednesday off, and then go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So, I don't know, but for whatever reason, they didn't want to do that. And, I was originally thinking that I was against the idea because we were going to have 3 hours of Raw, then 2 hours of SmackDown, and maybe even a pay-per-view on the Sunday. So 2, 8 hours of wrestling, and if you want to include NXT, 9 hours of wrestling in a few days. But, kind of thinking about it now, it's not a bad idea because on probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, up until about Sunday night, I have literally no thought about wrestling much at all. Like, my wrestling thoughts, unless there's news coming about, I don't really think about wrestling. Obviously I do my videos and things like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking about, but I don't really think about what's going on in the WWE itself. So, I still have wrestling in my frame of mind on a Tuesday and on a Wednesday, because obviously Raw airs on Tuesdays for me. So, let's say on Monday and Tuesday, your time for you overseas guys, that's when I'm still thinking about wrestling. So, Monday, obviously Raw, and the next day, still kind of thinking about Raw a little bit. So, you still have wrestling in your frame of mind on a Tuesday. And if you have another episode of SmackDown, if you have a pretty killer Raw, you want to kind of see a little bit more, and you can kind of do that with SmackDown. And now it's going to be completely different. So you got your Raw fix, then you get SmackDown. Two completely different shows, different storylines, different things happening. I don't hate it. I think it's a good idea. I think it's good. SmackDown going live, I've been saying that for years, is the one thing they have to do to make SmackDown relevant again. SmackDown has been dead in the water for a long, long time, and they needed to do something to kind of give us a reason to watch it. I know they changed it to USA Network, and I'm sure this was probably a bit of a push from USA as well to kind of do something with SmackDown. They probably looked at the ratings for SmackDown and said, well, we can probably improve on this. So my real concern is Raw. For the brand split to work straight away, Raw has to go back to 2 hours. And let's be honest, if they cut back an hour, are they really going to miss out on anything? Because SmackDown's going to be 2 hours live as well. SmackDown's viewers should increase. Raw's viewers might increase as well. I don't know. So, evidently, they're still going to get more people watching, and their advertising stock and the price they can charge for that time slot should increase, if I'm guessing how this is all going to work. I could be wrong on how the whole system kind of works, but their stock for the USA Network should increase even further, whereas the third hour of Raw gets bad ratings anyways. So if they had 2 strong hours on Monday and 2 strong hours on Tuesday, wouldn't that be better than 1.5 good hours on Monday and then probably maybe 2 hours on Tuesday? Like, I think overall it might be better to have that. The third hour could easily be cut. When I'm watching Raw, I feel like it's an hour too long every damn week. I feel like if this was a 2 hour show, not this week, but most weeks, if it was a 2 hour show, it would be pretty good. This week, I watched Raw at about 45 minutes because I skipped majority of it because it was crap. It was a really shit show. But anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So the brand split, straight away, you got to cut Raw back. Now, will they do that? Is that extra third-hour revenue that important to them? Well, if the brand split's going to work, it has to go. Because if you got Raw with 3 hours and SmackDown with 2 hours, how is that, fair? How is that a competitive balance? How is that at all, going to work? It's not. You need to cut that back straight away. And for the rosters, obviously, you need to have equal share of the top guys. You can't have Lesnar, Cena, Reigns, Rollins all on Raw and then have Sheamus, Del Rio, and maybe Randy Orton on SmackDown. It ain't going to work. You need to have an even playing field. And I think they get that. I think they understand it. I think they're going to do that. Now, we have the rumored list in front of us. We'll talk about that in a moment, what the rumored is. But I think the brand split can work. Now, obviously, the big concern is the fact that they don't have enough star power to really carry 2 shows. That's fair enough. But you think about it, a brand split is going to force them to really push these new guys and create new stars. Currently, you could probably look at the rosters and you might see 3 or 4 main event guys for each brand, which is not enough at all. It's going to get pretty boring there quickly. So obviously, they're going to have to bring 2, 3, 4 guys up into those slots and create more upper mid-carders and a few lower tier main eventers as well. They're going to have to do something to increase the star power on each show. So it means they're going to have to invest more time, create better storylines, and really start to try and improve each show and improve the rosters to have a better roster base overall. So it could lead to us having more people from NXT come to the main roster. Now, the rumored roster that I'm looking at here suggests that we're going to have a lot of people coming to the main roster. Now, I actually don't believe that this rumored roster that I'm about to read out in a minute is the actual roster at all. I don't buy it for a second, but we'll get into that pretty soon. But, so it's going to create more stars, I think. I think, when we look back when the brand split, or the brand extension as they're calling it, happened from, 2002, 2003 to, 2009 or so, we had a lot of stars being born and created on and maintained on each show. It didn't feel like one show was carrying the other for a long time there. It felt quite equal. And, look at when Smackdown was in about 2003 when Paul Heyman's era was running. He built a number of stars on that brand and they turned into long-term stars for the company. So a brand split is going to give more opportunities for guys to shine. Now, it's a shame that someone like Damien Sandow is going to be gone. Same with Cody Rhodes. Those 2 guys could have really, shone in this brand split and it got the opportunities, but I guess they probably felt as though maybe someone else would get that instead of them, so fair enough. But it feels like it's going to give an opportunity for some guys who may not be getting it for a while. Someone like Cesaro could really benefit. Someone like Cesaro, I think, could become a main event guy. I mean, Dolph Ziggler, all of a sudden, his stock will increase, I think. And someone like Apollo Crews is new, and Baron Corbin, those 2 guys might get a bigger opportunity. Someone like Titus O'Neil as well, who's been floundering around doing nothing for ages, he might all of a sudden get more opportunities. So it's going to give more chances for people to kind of break through a little bit, and I think that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. Really looking forward to seeing, and I think that's the most exciting prospect about the main roster. I think the brand split, I should say, on the main roster. I think it's the possibility that we could get a bigger talent pool of guys who are over, exciting to watch, more exciting storylines are happening, and the competitive feel to it again. I miss the competitive feel. When SmackDown and Raw, I love the SmackDown and Raw matches when they had on them Survivor Series or any pay-per-view or any time the 2 brands met each other. It was so exciting, Granted, I was younger. I was, 10, 11, 12. So I was a SmackDown guy. I'm like cheering for SmackDown, hoping these guys win. But you kind of, you get affiliated with a brand, I suppose. It's like, picking a team, who do you like more? So we're going to have that feel. And I think we're going to have that competitiveness to it again. And I think that's something that the brands have certainly been missing. And And even something, like I said, I accidentally said games, but now that I bring that up, something the games have been missing as well. An extra new element to the games. WWE 2K games could really, kind of prosper from this as well. So I think overall, as a business decision, I think is a smart idea. I think it's going to shake up the WWE greatly and add a huge element of interest back into the show, because they've been so stagnant for such a long time. This has been something they've really needed to do. I think we've all had our doubts on can it work, and I still have my doubts, can it work? But if they execute it properly, they do the necessary changes they need to do, they put in the necessary things they need to do, it will work. Now, like I said, they have to change things, different writers for each show, different producers, different everything, different guys working on each show, different bookers. If it's someone doing every show, but if everyone's doing both shows, it's not going to work. But if they switch it up, completely different group of people working on each show, that's when you're going to get the competitiveness, and that's when you're going to get the better results. When you say group number 1 is writing for Raw, group 2 is writing for SmackDown, group number 1 is going to want to outdo SmackDown. And if you even put like a pay increase opportunity, whoever is producing the best ratings or who's doing the whatever, that's when these writers are going to actually start producing quality stuff, and that's when the wrestlers are going to actually start busting their ass. That's when things are going to really be shaken up. So when you put that prospect of, hey, more money for the brand that's doing the best, well, there you go. So that's when the competitors is going to come. That's when we're going to see a whole new shift. When WWE was obviously in the Monday Night Wars, they had to improve. They had to be better. They had that competitiveness to them that they needed to kind of kick them up the arse a little bit and do something different. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case with the brand split at all, because it's still over the one roof. Everyone benefits at the end of the day. SmackDown's doing better than Raw, then who gives a shit? At the end of the day, WWE's benefiting. But there will be some competitiveness to it, and there will be a few elements that will help both brands kind of prosper, and that might just help the quality of both shows increase. Now, we have the rosters, the rumored roster in front of me. Now, I will quickly run through each roster. So we'll start with SmackDown. So the announcers are going to pretty much kind of stay the same a little bit, with the addition of Corey Graves, Jerry Lawler, and Mauro Ranallo. So obviously straight away, SmackDown have got the better announcers. Lawler, old and probably well past it, but him as a heel I can tolerate. Corey Graves, I'm really starting to grow on him. I think he could be a great announcer. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if they dropped it back to 2 announcers. Get rid of Lawler and just have it Graves and Ranallo. I think that would be a very, very good combination. Their backstage announcers now, this is a weird one. I mean, this is why I don't really kind of believe in this rumor. But they've got written down Funaki is going to be a backstage interviewer with JoJo. So, take that as you will. So the roster, Rusev and Lana. This is for SmackDown. Rusev and Lana, The New Day, Apollo Crews, Becky Lynch, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, The Vaudevillains, The White Family, Baron Corbin, Emma, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango, Gallows and Anderson, Randy Orton, Dana Brooke, Big Show, Titus O'Neil, Tyson Kidd, Alicia Fox, Natalya, Darren Young, and Bob Backlund, Goldust and R-Truth, Kane, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, Tamina Snuka, Eva Marie, Finn Balor, Peyton Royce, Ty Dillinger, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa, Austin Aries, Mojo Rawley, Billy Kay, Nia Jax, and No Way Jose. Now, the reason why I kind of doubt this is because, look, Peyton Royce has barely done anything on NXT. Billy Kay the same. No Way Jose has just kind of started at NXT. Gargano and Ciampa, are they even full-time on NXT? I don't even know. So those right there are some question marks that have me doubting the legitimacy of this roster. The old-timers, Big Show, Kane, and Mark Henry, all on the one roster, on the one brand, as is Goldust and R-Truth. I don't think that's a very good idea. I think you should split that apart. Tag teams, probably the best. For SmackDown's got probably the better of it. The Wyatts, The New Day, The Vaudevillains, Gallows and Anderson. So the tag team division looks quite promising now. Obviously, Goldust and R-Truth as well, fair enough. And Fandango and Tyler Breeze. So the tag division there is quite strong. So a lot to like there. And as for their main event guys, what have we got? AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Do they have Roman Reigns down here? I think, did I read out Roman Reigns? I'm just having a quick browse through here. I didn't see Roman Reigns there, so that would mean that he's on Raw. All right, we'll read out Raw, we'll see if he's there. So Raw, they're going to keep the same announcers, JBL, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton. The other announcers, so Lillian Garcia will be probably the announcer, as will JoJo for SmackDown. Renee Young will be the backstage interviewer, and I'm guessing Funaki will do the same for SmackDown. So here's their roster. The Miz and Maurice, Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Enzo and Cass, Ambrose, Cena, Paige, Del Rio, Neville, Jericho, the Dudleys, Summer Rae, Kalisto, Epico and Primo, Zack Ryder, Naomi Sin Cara, Sheamus, the Usos, Ziggler, Ascension, Nikki Bella, the Social Outcast, Bayley, Shinsuke Nakamura, The Revival, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Bobby Roode, Hideo Itami, Liv Morgan, I've never even heard of her. Actually, no, I think I may have. Blake Murphy and Elias Sampson. So, right away there, it feels like Raw has the better top-tier names. Zayn, Cesaro, Ambrose, Cena, Del Rio, Jericho, Rollins. Feels like they've got, and possibly Nakamura and Ziggler's there as well. So, feels like they've got the better names on their show. But again, Hitami, I don't think he's going to be on the main roster. Rude, it's a question mark. Is he even in the company? Nakamura, I don't see him coming up the main roster yet. I feel like he might be the vocal point of NXT for a while. And Samson, I don't think he's ready. Samson, Nikki Bella, is she even going to be back in the company? We don't even know. But yeah, so for me, I'm not really buying into this roster, but this is the whole thing that's going around right now. I don't even think Roman Reigns was listed, so they obviously don't know where the hell he's going. So I'm guessing he'd be on SmackDown. But it feels like Raw's got the better end of the deal there in some aspects. I think SmackDown's got the better tag division. You got the Wyatt family, so you got Bray, Harper, and Rowan there, and Braun Strowman. So that's a pretty strong thing for SmackDown as well. So I kind of forgot about that. So you kind of got Bray, Randy, Styles, Owens, Big Show if you want, Kane and Mark Henry if you need. So yeah, a bit of a mix of young and old there as well. So I guess in a way they're pretty balanced, but I feel like in some kind of aspects Raw's got the better end of the deal in terms of star power. SmackDown's probably got the better end of the deal, and for the tag division. In terms of the mid-card, probably Raw again. So Raw probably has the better end of the deal, which is not what they want. They probably need SmackDown to have the better end of the deal at the end of the day. But that's the brand split discussion. Let me know what you guys think about the brand split. Who would you like to see go where? Do you think this roster that they're rumored is legitimate? Even if it is, they can obviously change it. Now, another reason why I don't think this is legitimate is because WWE, their track record of planning things in advance in the last number of years is non-existent. I don't even think they'll have their roster ready until the night of the draft. Let's be honest. So the night of the draft is probably when they'll compile the rosters. I don't think they're going to do it, a month, 2 months out from the draft, over 6 weeks away from the draft. There's no way they're going to be doing that. So I feel like this is just a lot of bullshit that someone's come up with. There's some really skeptical names there, so I'm not buying into it, but I thought I would share it anyways because that is the whole big talk around right now with the brand split. So I thought I better get into it. Alright, so for Monday Night Raw, there's only one thing I really want to talk about, and there was only one thing about Raw that I took any interest in, and that was AJ Styles' heel turn. He attacked John Cena a number of times. He attacked him, went away, etc., etc. So I like it. I was kind of wondering what the hell are they going to do with the club without Styles. It feels like it's empty. It feels like those two guys are going to struggle and fail. Now, with the AJ Styles in there with a full-fledged heel turn, I feel like this group could be something now. I feel like this group could go somewhere, and obviously feuding with Cena will give them a huge rub. I think Cena will probably beat them. I don't know. I feel like Cena coming back, he's probably going to just beat everyone that he hasn't beaten yet and kind of walk away and then go do a movie or something like that. I feel like that's the whole thing we're here with Cena with, but I feel like the club need a win. I think Cena, I would like to think that he might give him this one. But here's the thing, the club are getting pretty old. Styles is the same age as Cena pretty much, so, it's not like he's putting over a young talent. But the potential to create a top-level group, the potential to establish AJ Styles as a main event star and have him be a main eventer for the next 5 years in the company is right there for the pickings. So I would like to see that happen. And I feel like if he loses to Cena, that's going to send Styles right down the pecking order again. It's going to help them get more attention and better airtime, but in the long term, I don't know. And apparently, according to this roster split anyways, they're going to be on separate brands, so it's quite possible this could be a one-and-done situation. I'm not sure. But AJ Styles and John Cena, that's a big match. And that's a match, you talk about it probably 5 years ago, people would have, paid big, a lot of people on the internet was dying to see it. What would happen? And we've kind of seen it. The crowd responded pretty well to it, which was very cool. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope they have a match. Feels like it probably could have been done at SummerSlam, but whatever, we'll pull the trigger now. But it's interesting, very, very interesting, and I'm a little surprised that Cena's going to be feuding with Styles. I didn't have him down with that. I had him down kind of doing something with a title or involved in Money in the Bank. I didn't think he would go to just a feud with someone, but it gives something for Styles and the club to do, something for Cena to do, and we'll see where it goes. But so far, so good. I enjoyed the heel turn, and now I feel like the club is once again established as a top-tier group. The other little piece of news that we have for you this week was Cody Rhodes creating a bit of a list, a bit of a checklist of guys he wants to work with. Basically, all the top indie guys, a lot of Ring of Honor guys, a couple of TNA guys, some New Japan guys, but we'll run through the list quickly. He has Adam Cole, I think that says Dalton Castle, Bowler, Angle, as in Kurt Angle, Chris Hero, The Miracle, Mike Bennett, Moose, Pat Buck, the streamers thing. Now, also, this is kind of like, a few things that he wants to do, not just guys he wants to wrestle. The Young Bucks, Trevor Lee, Shibata, personal ring announcer, which would probably be his wife, let's be honest, and Roderick Strong. So that's a lot of great matchups that I would definitely love to see him do. I think, like I said, Cody Rhodes would be a great fit in New Japan. I think he'd be perfect for the Bullet Club. And I think he could be very, very good in Ring of Honor. I think Cody Rhodes could be the type of guy who could be the top-tier name in a company like Ring of Honor. He's still very young. Cody Rhodes has got a lot left to offer to the wrestling world. And he's very, very good. He is very, very good. He's a good, it's a pretty good promo. He's good in the ring. He's got a good look. He's got that pretty boy look. He has a bit of star qualities to him that a company like Ring of Honor could really capitalize on. I don't think it's going to, jumpstart their company or anything like that, but it will certainly help keep their house attendances pretty strong, and he could be a big major player on the independent circuit. So much so that he could go away for 2 or 3 years, work the indies, and I could see the WWE bringing him back. I think he could be someone who, like a Luke Gallows, can go away, reinvigorate himself elsewhere, and then come back. He's young enough where he can do that. Someone like Sandow, I think he's 34 years old. He might still be able to do that and come back at maybe age 36 or so. So a couple of these guys could potentially be back. And Cody Rhodes, I don't think he's burnt bridges. Even if he has, he has the Rhodes name. He's always going to be welcome back, I think, just out of respect for Dusty. So I think Cody Rhodes could go away and really have a big impact. So that's not to say he's going to go to TNA, but I think he could go elsewhere and tear it up on the indies. So if you're an independent fan, wrestling fan, a lot to like there, indeed. What is Brendan playing this week? Lots of Fallout, lots of Uncharted. Getting back into Fallout 4, I actually bought the season pass as well, which was ridiculous. I think it was $75 or something like that. It's absolutely outrageous. I had to spend that much for a season pass, but I really like Fallout, and I want to definitely play all the DLC. Halfway through the game, the main storyline, I'm kind of getting there. I'm doing a lot of side stuff. I think I've clocked maybe 50 or 60 hours in the game in total. So I love the game. I just kind of played it and played it and played it. Then I stopped, and I finally got myself back into it, and I'm really, really enjoying it again. I really like Fallout, and I couldn't recommend the game more. The Witcher is another game I'd like to get myself into as well. I feel like I would definitely enjoy that. I have The Witcher, obviously, but now all the DLC packs are kind of done with as well, and all the major updates are probably through with. I think that's a good time to kind of get back on The Witcher and kind of experience the game at its best. So that's a game that I might consider picking up. Uncharted, I think I finished Chapter 8. I've been playing it on stream. It is phenomenal. It's probably the best PS4 game on there. The graphically is gorgeous. Some really good gameplay element changes. It's very exciting to play. Good action, great acting, great storyline. Everything is just great. Uncharted is just great. I can't recommend it more. I mean, it's such a great series. It's probably one of my favorite series ever. I finished all 3 in the past twice. and I'm definitely going to enjoy playing the rest of Uncharted 4. So I'm going to kind of keep playing it on stream. So if you want to check out my streams, I'm not sure what days I'll be playing it, just kind of when I get a chance. So definitely on the weekend you'll see me playing Uncharted. So come along and say hi. We definitely have a lot of fun with Uncharted, and I don't think there's really any other games that are going to be playing this week. I think those have been really taking up my time, and thank God, it's such great games. I'm quite happy for them to take up my time. Very close to buying Overwatch. I know it got a very good review, and I asked on Twitter, should I get it? And a number of people said, yeah, it's really, really good. So I'm kind of tossing and turning about it, but I kind of feel like, it might be a game that I may not enjoy. I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't play the beta, and I feel like when I watch gameplay, I don't know if it's for me. So if you guys can let me know what you think about Overwatch. Is it a game that I need to have? As a guy who loves shooters, as a guy who buys every damn game in the market, I haven't bought this one. Am I making a mistake? Am I making a mistake by saving, well, evidently my $99, because that's how much it costs to buy freaking games here in Australia. But am I saving $100? You let me know in the comments below. I feel like I could enjoy it, or I may not. It's kind of like hit or miss. I don't know. So I kind of feel like someone needs to buy it for me. My friend needs to buy it for me so I can just get it and I don't have to worry. But he doesn't want it, I don't think so. Yeah, we're kind of in a bit of a dilemma. So you guys help me out there. Alright, so we have some questions to answer. So let's get straight into them to close out the rest of the show. So let's get straight away into our voicemails.
Hi Brennan, I really enjoy your videos and I don't want you to stop doing YouTube anytime soon. But you got any idea when you'll stop? Just wondering, thanks.
At this point, I don't have any planned time on when I want to stop. I don't really want to stop at all. I really, really enjoy it. Currently, I'm in my last year of my degree. I have probably 2 semesters to go, most likely. Minimum 1, possibly 2. So, I'm very close to finishing my degree, which could mean that I might get myself a full-time job very, very soon. Now, if you don't know what the degree I'm doing a sports and business degree, sports management and business degree, 2 degrees in 1. So I'm going to try and probably get into that field pretty soon. Now, I still feel like I'm going to do YouTube on the side. Now, the problem is I may not do YouTube as in spend my whole day, every day on it like I do now. But I feel like I'll still have plenty of time, or if not, I will make time to do so. But I think right now you can at least guarantee a whole year still of, guaranteed me, working as hard as I possibly can on YouTube. And if other commitments get in the way, then I might start slowing down a little bit. But I don't see myself quitting because I've worked so hard on getting my channel to where it is right now. I don't want to leave any stones unturned. I want to try and get the full value out of my channel that I possibly can and get and achieve everything that I possibly can. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to balance both and maybe incorporate the two, maybe, for example, me doing vlogs, during work, because my job could potentially take me all over the place and see a lot of cool sporting events. So I could be involved in a lot of those different things, and maybe I could even, incorporate that into the channel in some kind of way. And, that way I'll keep videos going. You never know. But for now, at least I've got one more, undivided, attention towards my channel. One more good year. It might even take me a while to get a job as well, because the market isn't that incredible for jobs. Anyways, it's kind of hard getting a job right now in Australia. So you never know, but for now, you can expect at least one more really, really good year.
Brendan, where do you come up with the storyline ideas for Universe Mode or GM Mode, mini-universe?
Years of watching wrestling helps a lot. I kind of will take a storyline that I've seen or, and kind of morph it my own way. Now, a lot of the storylines that come with aren't earth-shattering, but it makes sense. And I think you just need to think of storylines that are practical, make sense, easy to understand, and you can follow it along. And sometimes they're very predictable, and I don't really have a lot of swerves or ridiculous things that happen, but I like predictable. Sometimes predictable is good. Having a storyline play out the way that it should play out is good. For example, when I had the storyline of Dolph Ziggler in Universe Mode, his rise to the WWE Championship took such a long time, but he got there. Now, obviously, the swerve, I guess, at the end was, it was taken away with the cash-in, but he got there in the end. Obviously, the whole Rock and Randy Orton thing, that went on for a long time, but, it kind of made sense, and, over a while, you can really start to create a lot of great things. So, sometimes some storylines that I have, kind of fall flat, and I kind of get over it after a while. Sometimes I get really into it, and I kind of, really go hard at it. I can say right now, a bit of an inside scoop, that probably the biggest storyline I've got working on right now in Universe Mode is the Balor Club situation with Ziggler and Rollins, and I'm hoping that's probably going to be my big storyline to close out the calendar year of Universe Mode, so expect to see a lot of cool things there with that, but that's kind of like my big plan right now, so the bread and butter I've got working on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the play out of that storyline right now.
Hey Brennan, how's it going? Since we are now firmly in this new era with Shane and Stephanie taking over Raw, and a bunch of indie guys are getting a chance to shine and show their talents. I was wondering, in the previous era, or the Authority era, in your opinion, what was the most underused or underdeveloped rivalry that we've seen? For me, it would be, of course, Fastlane, Cody Rhodes and Goldust. I felt like they could have done so much with that, with the whole Stardust and people chanting Cody. And then with Dusty, of course, and his wife, Brandy. I just thought they could have done so much more with that instead of having like one weird match and then just cutting it off. But what do you think? What was the worst rivalry for you in the Authority era from 2013 to 2016? All right, this is Jordan. Hope you answer this question.
I definitely agree with the Cody Rhodes and Goldust thing. I think they could have done a lot more with that. I think probably the biggest missed moment, and it's not a rivalry, so to say, but I think the Dolph Ziggler thing was a huge missed opportunity. I think they could have had Dolph Ziggler explode into a megastar and be one of their top-tier babyfaces. He had such a wave of momentum after Survivor Series, and he just did absolutely nothing with it. That whole Authority and Dolph Ziggler storyline really fell flat. They could have done something great there. So I think that's probably the biggest missed opportunity in recent times that I've seen, especially with the Authority era, so to say, that they did never capitalize on. Obviously, they could have probably capitalized on the whole Daniel Bryan thing a little bit better, but obviously injuries kind of let that down as well. But I think for me, definitely Dolph Ziggler was the biggest letdown of the Authority era. Okay, so our other questions are coming in from Roy the Boy. Are you enjoying the Apollo Crews and Sheamus feud? I think I need to see a little bit more of it so far. I think Apollo Crews, his backstage segment with the Big Show. Now, mind you, I skipped a lot of things on Raw, but I did catch this. His acting was, felt really forced. It was not good at all. So he's still got some work to do on camera. It doesn't help that they can't look at the camera. I mean, look at Dolph Ziggler cut a pretty good promo, I thought, and him not looking in the camera, it's such a stupid thing. I really, really don't like that at all. It just, I don't know, it's just a pet peeve. But, yeah, the whole Apollo Crews and Sheamus thing, we'll see where it goes, but, it's not a bad little thing so far, and it's something for both guys to do, and if Apollo Crews gets a win over Sheamus and kind of gets himself some momentum going from there, then I'll be happy, but if Sheamus beats him, then I'll be pretty disappointed, let's be honest. Next up, we have Boy123 Jim. Why is Rollins still a heel and Roman Reigns is a tweener, or, realistically, he's a babyface? He gets, the crowd's kind of made him a bit of a tweener, but still, he's basically a babyface. I have no idea why. I mean, Rollins should be a babyface, Reigns should be a heel. Reigns just looks like a natural heel. Let's be honest. He acts like a heel, looks like a heel. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why they're forcing it. The thing about the brand split as well will obviously take a lot of the heat off Roman Reigns. A lot of attention is going to be divided elsewhere. Who's going to be the champion of Raw? Reigns, let's say Reigns is on Smackdown. A lot of the attention will be split apart with elsewhere. Who's going to get the belt on Raw? Let's say Rollins is the champion of Raw and Reigns is the champion on SmackDown. We get the best of both worlds. WWE gets what they want, and we get what we want with Rollins. So it's okay. I mean, I guess that might be their way of kind of, quieting down the hatred towards Reigns. Will it work? I don't know, but I still feel like Reigns needs to turn, but I don't think it's going to happen. So we just kind of have to accept this is the way it's going to be for a while and just try and make the most of it. I think make the best of it. So far, it's been okay. Just his promos, I'm really kind of tired of that. That's the big component that I'm really tired of with Reigns. And, I didn't really like what they did on Raw this week with Reigns and Rollins, so they could definitely improve on that. But, yeah, so I don't know why he's a heel. He's not a heel yet. I don't know why. The Blue 13, where do you think you will be in your universe mode by the time WWE 2k17 comes out? Alright, so we generally get a pay-per-view done every month, so I think late October is when 2k17 is going to drop. So that's month 10, so that means we have 4 months left. So that means we're currently on Night of Champions, so we'll probably get 4 more pay-per-views after Night of Champions done. So that'll be Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series, TLC, Royal Rumble. So potentially Royal Rumble could be the last episode of 2K16 Universe Mode, and we'll start 2K17 on the road to WrestleMania. Now, that would actually be pretty cool. And if we can stop there, I'd be okay with that. I definitely would. That would be a pretty good stopping point, in my opinion. But obviously, it might be pretty cool to have someone like Goldberg be in the new game, and we could kind of have all these better names in the game as our special Royal Rumble entrance. So, but maybe even TLC might be a better stopping point. But I wouldn't want to kind of drag it out. I don't want to stop Universe Mode for like a month and then kick it back up again. It might, honestly be a good thing for me to kind of stop Universe Mode for a month, and then I have done it before. I stopped for a couple of weeks, stopped it for a month, and then kind of like do NBA videos or, old school videos. Just do other things for like a month and then kind of come back with Universe Mode, refresh, ready to go, and have a completely new Universe Mode calendar year to start from. So maybe that's a bit of an option. Maybe Royal Rumble or at the end of TLC. Next question comes from Thomas Speller. Do you think John Cena will win the Intercontinental Championship before he leaves WWE so he can become a Grand Slam champion? Absolutely. Absolutely. He'll get it at some point. Flynn, if Kevin Owens was to win Money in the Bank, how long would you have him hold the briefcase before cashing in, and on who? Obviously, I think probably Roman Reigns is a likely candidate to get cashed in on, and I would probably have it again around about that Survivor Series period. I don't think Kevin Owens should be champion heading towards WrestleMania, but I feel like Kevin Owens would be a good champion for a while. So maybe you can even have him cash it in around Night of Champions time. So Night of Champions or so, maybe I'd have the cash in happen there. Thomas Speller's got a couple of questions here, and they're pretty similar. By the way, shout out to Thomas Speller. He always leaves a lot of questions every week, so shout out to him. He's a great supporter of the podcast, and he is one of the guys who keeps the podcast going in the question department, so thank you very much to him. But he's got 2 very similar questions here. So basically, with the brand split happening, do you think WWE will split up the world and tag titles, and will create the world and tag titles? And also, with the brand split happening, do you think they'll add more titles, such as the European and hardcore titles? I don't think they'll split up the tag titles. I feel like there's not enough teams, not enough credible teams to really do that. And you can create an interesting tag team with both brands kind of gunning for the titles. I think they'll split up the world titles. That might just be it, and put the IC on one, US on the other. In terms of other titles, the European and hardcore, I don't know if that's such a great idea either. I feel like the US and the IC have kind of been devalued to such a degree over the years that you would like to just kind of have more attention focused on those 2 championships to kind of regain some more prestige to those titles. So I think you could kind of create, a better, make those titles better again by having, less titles on the show and more meaning for the champions who do hold each title. So I would probably say no to adding more titles, unless it's a second world title for each brand, because I'm not a big fan of having, the world champion of both shows, in my opinion. Final question is from Thomas Feller again. If Universe Mode isn't in WWE 2k17, what would you like to see replace it? What would you do as a series on your channel? Please, God, put Universe Mode in there or something very, very similar. If there is no Universe Mode, I think I will cry. 3 years I've spent creating Universe Mode, creating storylines, history, title runs, all these iconic, great moments throughout the series. For all that to be washed away would be heartbreaking. Honestly, it would be. It would be so much work gone down the drain. If they replaced it with a GM mode, a brand versus brand GM mode, I would just kind of morph Universe Mode and just put it into GM mode. I would just, same rosters, same everything, just kind of morph it into that and just go from there. So, and it probably would be better. So if I was going to replace Universe Mode, I would replace it with GM mode and I would just kind of transfer everything into that. And if there was no Universe Mode, let's say there's no GM mode, what would I do on my channel? Probably My Career Mode. I'm thinking about doing My Career Mode definitely going to do my career mode in new game anyways, but I would probably focus more on my career mode, or if not, find even a new game. Maybe go away from WWE, find something else that I like, because Universe mode is a lot of work that I've kind of put in, and so it'd be very disappointing if I couldn't do that anymore. But hopefully that's not the case, at least for the next game. Maybe the 2K18, it's up in the air, but I think the next game it might be pretty safe. Alrighty guys, that will do it for this week's edition of the Let's Talk Tuesdays podcast. Make sure you do support the show by downloading on the iTunes and leaving a rating on any of the platforms that you watch or listen to the show on. Obviously Spreaker, iTunes, YouTube, whatever. Make sure you leave a like and share it around to your friends as well. If you do want to leave a question for next week's episode, please do so. You can do so on the forums at brendanplace.com/forums, or you can leave a voicemail on the website at brendanplace.com, or hopefully, if I remember to do it on the Facebook page. I kind of need to get that, in my mind. I just kind of fix that. And obviously in the YouTube comment section as well, you can leave a question there. Please follow me on Twitter as well, at Brendan Plays, to remain up to date with everything to do with myself and the show, and the Facebook page as well, Brendan Plays Official. And make sure you join up to the forums at brendanplace.com/forums to continue the discussion of everything we talked about today. The brand split, a lot of discussion happening there on the forums, and you can chat with other wrestling fans there and have your opinions heard by others, and kind of discuss and go back and forth on all the topics that have been going around right now in wrestling. Hope you guys have a great week. I am definitely looking forward to my week ahead. Another kind of week where I can kind of be slack and play games and just enjoy myself. So lots of streams coming up from me, lots of videos coming up from me as well. So make sure you guys have a great week, and I'll see you all next Tuesday.